1,000 laughs over a weekend of swell. Vail Comedy Festival. Pet an alpaca or hike a trail. Memorial Day.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Masters. We're back for another episode live from Vail Comedy Festival. We got Brad Sativa here. Hey Brad.
What's up? What's up? How you doing, Mark?
I'm great. Another terrific day. It's been about I don't know, two and a half weeks since the festival. Heard on another episode you've been representing your T-shirt at other festivals. We'll get into all that stuff in a little bit. Love it. You made so many new fans at the festival. You're so funny. Let's rewind a little bit though. How did you first hear about the Vail Comedy Festival?
I don't know. I think it popped up on one of my things. I'm in like a festival thing, so like it always kind of pops up. But then I always kind of like look at the lineups, kind of see who performed in the past, and that kind of that'll let me know if I like submit or not. So I seen some people from New York that I know real well that was on it last year, so it kind of gauged me to submit this year.
Awesome. And you had a kind of interesting travel schedule because you weren't just coming in for the festival and leaving right afterwards. You had a long road trip thing or flight trip. How did you get to the festival? How did you get to Vail, Colorado?
Yeah, I actually rode in with one of the comics from Denver.
Okay.
I rode up with him, and so I was out in Denver probably at least a week and a half before the Vail Comedy Festival. Just kind of doing shows. I was down. I did some shows for Dave Bory and a few of the other guys, Brent Gill, and then kind of just carried over. And then once I got in the fest, I extended out my stay in Colorado. So
nice, awesome. I think you were at Comedy Works even.
Yeah, for sure. I did Comedy Works. I did New Talent Night, and then I did a set with my friend Jordan Jensen, who we kind of started comedy around the same time in Nashville.
She's a killer. She's killing it out there. I had an audience member at a show this week request her for bring her out. I'm like, I think she's too big for me. We'll see.
Might be, but like you never know till you ask.
Yeah. So you're based in Nashville, though, right? Nashville, Tennessee. All right, cool. So you get out to the festival. Do you remember what hotel you stayed at? Evergreen Lodge. Yeah. Evergreen Lodge. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you get into the Evergreen Lodge, and then what was like the first thing you did at the festival that was part of the comedy festival?
Like I got here pretty much like, so when I got in on Friday, I came pretty much to the 5 o'clock show.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Were you on that show, or were you just?
I was on that show. Okay. So so it kind of worked out well. It's came and did that show, then was able to kind of meet up with some people that I already knew from prior, but then also got to meet a lot of new people throughout the process. And then I think later on that night, we hung out at it was the late show at Aviator Nation. And then we hung out there and got to do the first real Comic Hang with everybody in town.
Yeah, that was a good time. We were hanging out. I remember it was pretty late night that night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was definitely late night.
Yeah, it was a good time. Any thoughts on describe Aviator Nation for people who haven't been there? Like what kind of comedy?
Yeah,
it's not a
sure. Yeah. So like, I guess I'm fortunate I've been able to do the Don't Tells for the last probably 4 years. So I'm kind of used to doing shows in non-traditional locations. So that one was in a what I call a very upscale like skate shop. That's how it's definitely, like I say, it was fashion forward, and it is it did have some nice clothes in there, but definitely it was for if you want to look good and spin good. That's what that store was. It was, but yeah, it was a good venue. Like I said, the basement part was a good hangout spot, just in general.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That first night, Friday night, down in the basement, that was a good time. Lots of comics and such great pictures from Nick Holmby. I don't know if you know him, but dude, IDK creative. Are just incredible. He's so good. He's so talented.
I was fortunate enough. I met him the week prior. So and then we have a few mutual friends, and then one of his friends, he moved out with Colorado. Good friends with her. So
Oh, okay, Morgan. We're doing shows. I'm doing shows with her next week. I'm really excited about it. I met her at a different comedy festival a few years
Yeah,
ago.
we did some shows in like a little bit. I met her in Nashville, but we did some shows a little bit outside of Nashville. But yeah, very funny young
Awesome.
lady.
She's great. She's terrific. Yeah, so many great people in comedy. That's one of my favorite things about comedy is how many people you meet. Any standouts of people on the festival that you already knew previously? Who were you excited when you looked at the roster?
Yeah, like
Out with them.
Carmen Lagala is very funny. Been fortunate to do several different shows with her in the past, probably like 4 years. Tiffany Anderson, me and her, we've been knowing each other for a long time because we based in the South both. Because she's in Atlanta and I'm in Nashville, so I always try to get to Atlanta a lot. Try to think who else. Like then Rob, me and Rob also. Rob Hayes got a lot of. We got a lot of friends, mutual friends, just because the same thing. Atlanta. He kind of moved out maybe a year or so after I started and went to like New York, but we still got a lot of mutual friends and a lot of people kind of want to patch us together and get us together. So
that's awesome. Well, good you were able to make that connection. Anybody else who you saw on the roster that you didn't know previously that you were excited to hang out with, or you weren't excited but you met them and had a great time, you really clicked? And
yeah, no, so it's like being comedy weird is like I love hanging out, I love the networking aspect, but I'm not actually a huge comedy fan. So it's like, so I check people out, but I'm kind of not like into it. Like I'm not checked into comedy like that. That's outside of mine. Like I put a lot of work into my own. But yeah, I just like to meet people from different places. Though when I see somebody's from a different city that I've not been to, I definitely want to see what they got going on in their city or from their perspective. I know Devontre, he's from San Francisco, live in San Francisco. So I wanted to check out the scene from there. I'm like, hey, how's the scene up there? Good to, it's good to kind of converse with people in different areas. I also think I'll be able to get a little bit of work from there, just from some of the other comics and vice versa. I always tell people we're looking for comics in Nashville whenever they're traveling through, because we do have Don't Tells, also do a show at the club as well. So just kind of always trying to stay cutting edge with that, and I always want to, even for my shows locally, I want to always get the best people I can that's coming through.
Yeah, that's great. It always excites me every year at the Vail Comedy Festival, the diversity geographically of the comedians. We have comics from all over the place. So yeah, that's a really good point. It's great for the comedians to be able to meet people in different markets. And Devontre Coleman, holy cow, what a killer. So funny out of San Francisco. He's fantastic. You have any special food or drinks while you're in Vail, Colorado?
Man, it's like water. Yeah, it was definitely higher elevation. That's the highest elevation I ever been up for sure. And I definitely seen a change. I usually don't see changes when only two places I've been that I've seen a change in my body when I went there is Vail and then Las Vegas because of allergies. I had like my allergies went haywire, but a lot of water. But I always drink the same thing. I drink Jack Daniels on the rocks. I don't really teeter away from that. You know what I'm saying? Or some kind of whiskey. I did have some of what is it, 10th Mountain. I did have some whiskey. Yeah, I did have some of their whiskey because we did the podcast. It was great. It was good. Like I like whiskey. I like doing whiskey tastings. I like tasting different stuff. But 9 times out of 10 is going to be, I say not even 9. I say probably 8 out of 10 to be Jack Daniels. But then the other 2 times is still going to be some whiskey or bourbon because that's where I lean to. So
I'm not very good with Southern geography. Is Jack Daniels made near Nashville, or is that far away?
No, it's about an hour outside of Nashville. So yeah, it is a Tennessee whiskey. One of the things about Tennessee whiskey is it's a charcoal filter process. That's what makes it different from bourbon. But bourbon's Kentucky, so which is probably 3 hours away from Nashville, like the bourbon area, and like Louisville, right outside of Louisville, and like Bardstown and stuff like that.
Okay. Have you been to the like Jack Daniels? What do they call it? A distillery or factory?
Yeah. Distillery. Yeah, I've not been, but I've sent people there because Jack Daniels also sponsors one of my comedy shows. So we always give out free tours to there, because once you get out, and it's kind of like a good day trip. It's like an hour away, but they have their own premise restaurant that have the tastings that you get to see. So it's usually a good package where people get food. and beverage as well.
Right on. I didn't know we had so much in common, Brad. We're both got comedy shows sponsored by whiskey companies. Yours is a little bigger though.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I actually got that from. I used to bartend and serve for a lot of years.
I used to bartend as well. Look at that. Look at that.
And,
Peas in a pod.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 10th Mountain Whiskey. One more time, shout out to them. They were great. They hosted our podcast tapings, Hippie Not Hippie, which you did an episode, right?
Yeah.
Who were you paired with?
Me and Rob Hayes.
Oh, Rob Hayes. That's right. That's right. What a great episode with Zach Moss and AJ Finney. Did you have a good time during that?
Yeah, it was great. It was good show, good fun show. That like all questions that like was pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like it was good people to kind of bounce off of. So between all four of us, we had a good little thing going, I think.
Nice. Did you get some whiskey during that pod taping?
Yeah. It was very early in the morning, but still we did take we all did drink one together. So it's probably about maybe like 10 or 11 when we did it. But yeah.
There you go. That's a nice perk when you're doing a podcast to be in
for sure.
Be in a tasting room of a whiskey joint. Okay, let's talk about you were talking about water. I do want to mention that we had a sustainability partner this year, Proud Source Water. It was cool, infinitely recyclable aluminum bottles. Those were all over the fest. So thanks to them. Let's talk about, so you're not a huge fan of comedy. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did any shows or venues that you weren't on stand out to you at all?
Like I told you, I'm a real road veteran. So it's like, I've definitely performed in a lot of like crazy places, taxidermy places. I performed in strip clubs, everywhere. Like literally, I performed in a lot of places. So a lot of places don't like I can always see the vision of comedy in places. But yeah, I would say that was one of my I would say probably one of my favorite. Which one is? It was the I think it was the last show of the fest that we did.
Real Wide.
Yeah, the wide one. Yeah, that was probably my favorite one. Because I like it because it was kind of very similar to like a club because you couldn't really see people past a certain point. And that's kind of, I'd rather do that. I'd rather not see everybody past like a couple rows just so I can kind of do jokes into the ether a little bit.
Yeah. And the acoustics were so great. It felt like you were in a much larger space. I mean, it was packed out, but the laughter was, I mean, part of that was the comedians. Everybody was killing up there.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah, that last show that's probably my favorite show of the fest, probably that last show. So.
Shout out to Leah Bonema, the headliner on that one. Hosted by Mark Masters, who messed up one person's name. Couldn't remember. It was you. I'm so sorry, buddy. A lot going on. I was like, who's the next comic? Had to shield the light. Oh boy, it happens.
Oh yeah, that's all right. That's why I had to get you on the back end. So
yeah. Oh man, you were hilarious. You were so funny. That was great. So you do a lot of festivals, right? Like the story I heard recently was you went to Limestone, which is a very prestigious festival. I think the weekend after Vail. Is that right? One weekend after, and somebody told me you were repping your nice long sleeve T-shirt.
Yeah, I did have the T-shirt on. I wore at least twice for sure. Like I wore it at the festival, and I wore it because I know some pictures exist on because some pictures exist from that night.
Okay, find them.
And they're definitely up somewhere.
How do you like that T-shirt?
It's actually a real good T-shirt, and I say that because I'm a T-shirt guy. I do merch too, so I definitely judge like quality of T-shirts based off like the wearability. Because it's like if I won't wear it, I won't sell it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or if I don't stand on the quality. But yeah, I say it was like Bella canvas, thin material. Even though it's kind of warmer, the material thin enough where it didn't really see a big chunk.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely not a wintertime T-shirt, long sleeve T-shirt. It's like definitely a summer and fall because it's so thin, but it's a good, like I said, it's a good fitting T-shirt.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm glad you liked it. What was who else was anybody at Limestone that was at Vail?
Yeah, let me see. AJ.
Oh, cool.
AJ Feeney and Selma
Zaki, what a killer. Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah, so but both of them was down there. So we got the back-to-back weekends kind of together with them. And then Selma, that's my first time kind of meeting. I know her crew of the people that she produced shows with, and but it's the first time I got to kind of meet the rest of the crew. And it was fun. It was like I said, it built momentum because it was easy. When me and AJ sat and have a conversation, it was easy because we already knew each other. So it wasn't like, so yeah, it's just always good. That's the best thing about the festivals. It's kind of meeting people and just seeing where people are. You never know, because like I said, I've done enough festivals. Probably been doing festivals for like the last 7 years. And over that time, it's like people you do festivals with, next thing you know, and however many years, and people are headliners, those people are viral, those people have the Comedy Central specials or tapings. So it's always kind of a good thing to kind of keep plugged in with everybody. And also, yeah, it was just a good atmosphere altogether.
Yeah, heck yeah. All right, so here's the hardest question of this whole thing. So you've done a ton of festivals, maybe the most experienced person at our festival in terms of festivals. You've done big ones, little ones, all over the place. Mm-hmm. What would you, if some of your friends came to Vail Comedy Festival next year, comics, what would you hope we'd improve upon to make their experience even better?
I would just say late night food was like, even if it's like, it's because it's like, it's nothing in the Vail. Like we had, like I say not fun, but we went all the way to a gas station and get like snacks from a gas station. Like it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. It was the only one that was open 24. So I'll just say some kind of snacks. It don't have to be nothing extreme, but cakes and cookies or something, like just to have, like just literally for the late night. It's like for people to just like, hey, there's no more food after this, so y'all might want to grab a bag of chips and something like on the way out. But I would say that's just the biggest thing, because there's no real food sources out there.
Yeah, that's a great call. You know me, I'm a strong communicator, which is a polite way of saying I communicate a lot, but I didn't actually communicate about the lack of late night food options, and I should do a better job at that. And also, we had pizza kind of haphazard a couple nights. We could formalize that. Probably get a sponsor to cover pizza and make it a special event for the comics. So there is, because it's not convenient to get, and that's a great. Thanks, Brad. That's a very solid suggestion and easy to act on. We can definitely do that. All right. So on a more positive note, what were a couple things you liked about the Vail Comedy Festival? Maybe different than other festivals, or the same as other festivals?
Okay. Yeah, it's for one, the housing and lodging for people, that was definitely that's clutch, because
free for you is what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because a lot of festivals do not necessarily include lodging. Some of them do, but I've been fortunate. I've been fortunate this year where I've done festivals of, like, theoretically, not saying the bad way. Vail was the first festival I did this year that I did a submission straight up. Everything else being kind of request. And
yeah, I gotta say, as a side note, I don't review the festival tapes, but I see every email that comes in as people are applying. And when I saw your name, I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, I can't believe Brad Sativa is applying to my festival. This is incredible. This is great.
Well, thank you. It was fun. But like I said, like the lodging, I think that was one reason I did apply to the fest, because I seen it was like lodging was covered. I'm like, all right, well, at least if that's covered, that's gonna take care of half everything else, because everything else, like I said, we survived off of the gas station food, but I would say, it's like the lodging was definitely great. And I'm glad everything was kind of centralized as well, since Vail is something that you can get around without actually like walking, or that part of Vail Village. You didn't have to really drive to get to another location. Everything was pretty much walking distance. So that's another good advantage. Even though the walk is a little different because of the elevation, it's still walking distance.
You're walking a little slower.
For sure. I took my time.
A little slower.
Because I was still under the weather a little bit, like in congestion, just because of just like I said, moving around a lot. But it was like I said, the festival was really tight knit of the locations. Also, have the availability of, like I said, of the lodging, and then everything being pretty convenient. Like even with the bus system that they had locally, kind of even made things easier if you wanted to. Like I made myself walk. Like 90% of the time, but to know that the buses were available is great too. But I kind of wanted to make sure I got out and got some fresh air, and so not just take buses everywhere. But I say that's a great thing. The location as well. Vail's a pretty city. It's a pretty town. There's a lot of aesthetics going on there. Good backdrops. time of the year that we was fortunate. The weather was very generous. Really didn't have to deal with a lot of the elements. You know what I'm saying? Maybe at night, maybe put on a little jacket or something. But that's the weather I welcome. But yeah, it was a good overall fest. I enjoyed myself. It's like it was a good lineup. I got to meet a lot of people from different backgrounds, and I do see myself linking up with a lot of them in the future. So
that's what we love to hear. All right, everybody. Vail Comedy Festival is every Memorial Day weekend. If you're a comic and you want to apply, you want to follow in Brad's footsteps, November 1st every year. If you want to come see funny people like Brad, January 1st every year, the passes go on sale. There are a lot of other episodes live from Vail Comedy Festival with old friends and new friends of Brad's. And check those out wherever you're watching this or listening to this right now. And I just want to thank you, Brad, for your time. Where can people find you?
Yeah, for sure. It'll be Brad Sativa on Instagram, on Facebook. On Facebook, they give a warning though. They say it might be drugs involved, but it's not just me. And then it's the real Brad Sativa on Twitter, and then it's Sativa Sense, or just type in Brad Sativa on YouTube. All my stuff will come up. But yeah, other than that, I'm just getting ready for put more content out. And yeah, it's going to be a good rest of the year. Just finna focus on that.
Yeah, you can. If Brad Sativa is coming to your city, everybody, he travels quite a bit. Go check him out. He's hilarious. I got to see him 3-4 times during the festival on stage. It was a lot of fun every single time. You did a great job. So thanks a lot, Brad. We're gonna shut down this episode live from Vail Comedy Festival. Tune in next time, everybody.